What's up, everybody? Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm about to bring in some people from Facebook. I'm about to bring in, so bear with me for a second. But yeah, we're gonna kind of talk about, you know, what we talked about yesterday. Man, I was kind of nervous putting that one out, putting out putting out the whole conversation on women, on men dating women with children. That was kind of a nerve wracking conversation right there. I'm not gonna lie about that one. Because it's just something that we don't talk about, we don't speak on a whole lot, especially in front of women. You know what I'm saying? Men might talk about it amongst themselves, uh, but we don't really like, you know what I'm saying? We don't really like go out there and really start talking in depth about it. In fact, I don't even know how much in depth I went into it. I kind of glazed over it. I wanted some people to come in and kind of share, you know, or to ask some questions. But if you got some questions today, I love to, just kind of answer what I can, and whatever I can't answer, we'll just, we'll figure it out, But yeah, man, this whole dynamic with in dating between men and women, it's it's a lot's changed. I was just thinking about how I don't know, if this is true or not, but like I personally feel like the whole IG TikTok, the whole IG TikTok thing, I feel like sometimes it's kind of ruining the dating, the atmosphere for dating and everything. I just feel like now there's so much, I feel like there's a lot more expectations than, not saying that you shouldn't have high expectations when it comes to dating, but I just feel like it just, like, I feel like some of the expectations are becoming ridiculous, you know what I mean? And it's not just because of IG or TikTok, but I think media in general is playing a big role in how we fantasize relationships, and how we go about it. You go, oh crap, I'm trying to bring people in. Uh okay. How we fantasize relationships, and how we go about in in getting to know people, and you know if we if we have all these high, this is what I personally believe. I believe that we should have standards and all of that, but at the same time, we have to have we have to be realistic with ourselves. I believe that all of us need to be realistic with ourselves, and try to make try to get out of life what we need. You know what I mean? And find the person that we can get what we need out of life. At the end of the day, uh having children, getting married first, and having children, having healthy relationships, you know and I don't know, do you think that it's difficult to have healthy relationships in this climate? I think so, personally. I think that healthy relationships in this climate is really, is it can be hard to do, just because there's so many things that go against that go against relationships, as far as go against the building blocks of relationships, of having a good foundation. So yeah, that's my take on it. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I just brought in I just brought in people from Facebook, and I just sent my link out. Okay. Hopefully somebody Hopefully people will join in because I would love to hear from other people. And if not, that's fine. Maybe we'll talk about it on the next video and try to answer some questions and have a real dialogue. Uh, yeah. So on the last episode, we talked about the just the mindset of men when it comes to how men perceive women with children, or not how they perceive women with children, but how what their mindset is when it comes to dating women with children. And there's so many different dynamics that comes with that. And as I explained before, age has a definitely has a the age of a man definitely plays a role in it. His experience, his experiences, his income, uh, all of that plays. How he was raised. Because a lot of men are raised. You know, a lot of men today. I'll say black men, because that's what I can talk. I can't say all men, but I know that in the black community we have like what a 70 something like 70-75% of men have been raised in single parent homes with their moms. So you have that, and then you have, so that means another 25% of men, only 25% of men have been raised in two parent homes with a mother and father. So that plays a role into how men are going to perceive, um how at least black men, I'm just talking about black men right now because I don't want to confuse the topic, because I really want to really want to keep it talking about men and women in general. But since I went down this little rabbit hole, I'll stay here for a second. Yeah. So uh when talking about black men, you're going to get a different dynamic. Black men in America, uh you'll get a different dynamic just because you have 75% of men raised in one parent homes, in single parent homes with their moms, or raised around women all the time. And it doesn't mean that they're going to be feminine all the time or whatever. It just means that their view of relationships is going to be a lot different from most men outside of their race, and even and that other 25% of men that have been raised with with two parents in the home. Because when you have two parents in the home, you get to see the dynamic between men and women every day. You see the power structure of a relationship. You see the give and take between the two. So when you don't grow up with that, you don't get to see the balance between men and women. How men and women relate to each other. And that could be a problem in dating. uh like for myself, I grew up in a two parent home, so there's certain things that when I go into the dating world, I have there's preconceived ideas that I have, you know, or there's things that I'm expecting from a woman. There's things that I'm expecting to produce, or I'm expecting to give to a woman. So um there's certain standards that I have for myself. There's also certain standards I'm going to have for the woman that I'm dealing with. So I'm not just going to there's certain things, there's a difference how I approach dating versus somebody who may have grown up in a one parent home, in a single parent home with their mom, or if you've grown up with women a lot, your mindset, or the way you carry yourself, the way you go about certain things is going to be a little bit different. So ladies, if you're out there dating men who are who grew up in a two parent home, your that dating dynamics probably going to be a lot different than you dating a man who grew up, in a single parent home. And many of you ladies probably have grown up in a single parent home with your mom, or with that your mom was the matriarch and she basically was the and all. She basically was the one that carried the house, or sometimes it's your grandmother, or whatever, your aunts or whatever. So that a lot of times, in with at least in the black community, from what I've seen, that a lot of times is the dynamic where you see um women basically holding down the fork, and women basically carrying the household. They basically uh they're the support structure for the household. So yeah, a lot of times there's going to be a lot of head butting when it comes, if you're dating somebody that grew up in a two-parent home, and they come with this mindset of a certain type of structure and a certain type of power dynamic between men and women, um and a certain type of they expectations. Our expectations are a lot different. When you come from a two-parent home, you expect there's certain things that you kind of expect from um from that relationship. I've dealt with women who came from two-parent homes, um and sometimes sometimes it depends on, did their parents have a healthy relationship though too. Because there's people who grew up in two-parent homes, and the reality is that that maybe the father was there but wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He was in the house, but he wasn't the he wasn't emotionally there, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not always the father, but I'm just saying that because that I just pulled that up because that's something that I've probably heard, or so. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of different things that hold up. Let me go back to Facebook because I want to see if somebody's actually coming on. I don't want anyone to miss anything. Okay. Let's see. And I'm not gonna stay on. I know I say this every time, but like I'm on for 10 minutes now. I thought I was just gonna stay for 10 minutes, but maybe I'll do another 10 minutes or 20 minutes or so. But yeah, our relationships, yeah, maybe the power struggle between men and women is something that's come up a lot. You know, uh I know a lot of women. Uh, there's this whole independent women, this whole independent thing that we're hearing all the time. Um, and I think a lot of guys have multiple within themselves. They might have multiple feelings about that, because a lot of who we are. How do I say this? How men are naturally built, we naturally want women to depend on us. We naturally want our family to depend on us. Okay, and it's not in a way where you have to do everything that we say, or we're laying down the law, yada yada yada. It's more of, I think the best way to think of a man is more of a security system. You know what I mean? Let's say let's say you have let's say you're a let's say you're rich and you're wealthy, and you have a security team, you have a bodyguard, right? And your bodyguard says, hey, don't do this because there's some danger ahead. You know what I mean? Well, would you tell your bodyguard, well, I do what I want, yada 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 yada? There are people that do that. I'll be all right, I'll do what I want. Well, yes, you can do whatever you want, but that may not be the wisest move. You know what I mean? So I think from and of course there are men that do have a control problem, but that's not all men, and that's not even most men. Most men are not as controlling, are not really that controlling as you would think. You know what I'm saying? We just want to make sure that our wife or the woman that we're dealing with is safe. We want to make sure that the children that we produce, and this is another thing. Like, let's say I'm in a relationship with a woman. All right, if I love this woman, then my mindset is mostly on making sure that she's safe, but not just for her, but I'm thinking about my future with her. So I'm thinking, okay, if this woman, let's say we're just dating, if this woman is somebody that I'm interested in, I might marry her. Okay, if I marry her, this woman may be the mother of my children. Okay, so now I have to protect the future mother of my children. You know what I mean? So everything in our mind is, all right, what do I need to do to protect her, to protect my children, to protect the mother of my children, and to make sure that I have a legacy. You know what I'm saying? So we're thinking about our legacy. We're thinking about um what's going to happen after we die. And I think deep down inside, men want to live on forever. So our way of living on forever, because we know that we're going to die at some point. Our way of living, we live on forever through our children, and the mother of our children is the person that teaches our children. So if we live on through our children, and the mother teaches our children, then we have to think about, okay, what's going on in the mind of this woman that I'm dealing with. Okay, because she's whatever is going on in her mind is what's going to be going, she's going to teach that to my kids. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of reasons why a lot of men are always are very protective, have a very protective mindset, and it's not to be bossy. It's not about ruling over women, and that whole thing where I lay down the law and yada. Men do are yeah, men are supposed to lay down discipline, uh, but for the children and for the household, and the discipline that they lay down, they should be abiding by it themselves. So it's more of whatever. It's not do as I say and not as I do. It should be more, okay, this is the confines. We're gonna put barriers around to protect our relationship, to protect our home, to protect our children and our future. So we can't go outside of this confine. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of times, uh, when we're talking about the power structure in a relationship between men and women, men have to lay down some type of protective, or some type of protective, of security. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And let's see who's on. I'm going back to Facebook again, and YouTube told me that 2 o'clock was a good time to do it. I've been doing it really late. I've been doing these lives really late at night, so I expected nobody to, really be on. Um, in fact, I'm still trying to get used to talking in front of this whole in front of uh, a camera. Let's see. Let's see what's happening. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the whole relationship dynamic between men and women. Women nowadays want more power. They feel, a lot of women feel like they need freedom, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all do have the freedom to choose. We all have the freedom to do. whatever that we have in our hearts or whatever we want. But I think the missing piece in that whole mindset that we put out there, the missing piece is consequences. Like for every action, there's a consequence to every action. And consequences, when I say consequences, I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean for every action, there's a reaction. There's pros and cons to everything that we do. So, and there's a price to pay for everything we do. So you can't just have freedom without responsibilities. So if you have freedom, you're responsible for the freedom that you have. So I think a lot of times we try to bring you can't I think the hard thing to do is to bring independence into a relationship, because in a relationship the two people are should be dependent on each other, you know, like like the in a relationship a man should to some degree depend on their on the woman, and the woman should depend on the man, you know. But and I'm not saying that in a more 50-50 kind of way or whatever, because everybody should be giving their 100, you know, and it's never going to be even. There's always going to be somebody in that relationship that's probably going to do more at certain times or in certain areas of the relationship, you know what I mean? Because we all have different strengths and different weaknesses, you know what I mean? Somebody may be stronger, uh like that's just like somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody, they may have stronger administrative skills. Somebody else may have stronger skills socially, you know, and somebody else, you know, one of the other may may also, you know, be more emotional than the other, you know. And you know, those little ambiguity, those little those little details about each other um also play a role in the relationship, you know. And I think the best thing, well, I'm not here to give it any kind of advice or anything, but I really think that we need to that people need to pay more attention to each other's strengths and weaknesses, and to be able to play on those strengths and weaknesses more. And I think that will benefit relationships a lot more if we know, okay, like for instance, if you know that your man isn't strong in a certain area and you are, then that's where you need to be working in, you know what I'm saying, a lot more. If you know that he's stronger in a certain relationship, then that's where you kind of back down and say, okay, he's better at this than me. Then I'm going to chill when it comes to this, okay? You know, and I think we need to give each other room, a lot more room when it comes to that, and more flexibility, because I think a lot of times we have all these expectations for each other sometimes, and we expect the other person to do this and this and this, and they might not be good at certain things, you know what I mean? They might not be the most, you know, the most emotional, you know, they might have problems maybe in that area, or now everybody's emotional, but express it, you know what I mean? So we have to be able to know how to help each other, and how to how to you know just understand, be more understanding of each other, and understand where we're strong at and where we're weak at, you know. that that may be a reason why a lot of relationships don't last, you know, nowadays. I think we're a lot more selfish nowadays, and it's more about what can I get out of this relationship more than what can I give into this relationship without asking for anything back. And that's what I think, that's the thing. Um we're always in the back of our mind, we're always thinking about what am I going to get back out of this relationship, myself included. I'm we're all guilty of it, you know. What am I getting out of this relationship? Now, at a certain point, you do have to think about that. Um, if you're putting in so much into the relationship, and the relationship is just not going anywhere or going bad, but there should be room. Well, both parties need to be putting in their all. But yeah, so that's my spiel for the day. I think I'm gonna close down for right now and maybe come back maybe another time. I really want to talk about some other subjects, but yeah, just let me know. Uh and yeah, go into the comment section, uh and just tell me what you think. Give some comments, some opinions, and I'll read them and I'll try to come back and talk about them, and hopefully we can find a good time to be able to meet each other and be able to do this live thing a little bit better. All right, guys. I'll see you next time.